the nucleus, because it's in the center, it is composed of two different kinds of particles. We have protons that are positively charged, and we have neutrons that are not positively or negatively charged. They're neutral. Neutral, neutron, so you can easily keep that in memory, and then proton, positive, PND. And then what we have around it is what's often called just a cloud of electrons that are orbiting, which is why we call it the planetary model of the atom. They're orbiting the nucleus, and all the electrons are negatively charged. And there's one thing that's important about the structure of this, and more about how things can move. So the nucleus is fixed. The nucleus can't really move. You can't rip the nucleus away from an atom or anything like that. The electrons, on the other hand, are mobile. They're just sitting there spinning around. While that spin can be changed, you can move them around, you can remove electrons, which maybe you've learned about in chemistry or something before. So that's what we have. We have a center that's composed of positive and neutral particles, which is where actually most of the mass is. And then around it we have these mobile electrons. So what I want you to do is to talk with your group for a little while and try to use this model and come up with an explanation of the findings that you have. Try to explain, using this model of, our planetary model of the atom and the mobile electrons and fixed nucleus, why what happened. And take about a few minutes to go through that, and then we're going to discuss that. Here, we need to actually decide which is positive and which one's negative. In this case, what we're going to say is that the top one goes negative. It's kind of an equal chance either way, roughly equal. But there's probably a slight leaning towards the top becoming positive, because if you think about the actual action that we have, when taking the top, it has this sticky side on it, and it's on the smooth side of the bottom piece, and you're ripping that apart. And so probably what's happening is that sticky side of that tape is pulling electrons off of the bottom piece. And what we call this is, it's charging by friction. And that's a key idea, key term too. If you remember from the objectives, we talked about a few different kinds of charging. Charging by friction is one of them. And that's what we're doing here when we're ripping. We rip them, and the friction of that actually causes some of the charge to move over to one. What else do we want to cover in that? That's pretty much it. Okay. All right. So, I'll let Mr. Ford take it.
Okay.
Yeah. Finish up everything.
So we'll end with that idea. Okay. So the idea that we have, when you rip the tape off, one gets charged positive, one gets charged negative. Based on our convention, the top becomes negative, bottom becomes positive. Okay. That method of gaining charge in one object is called charging by friction. Okay, so in your notes, make sure you have in your Q column these ideas listed up. Okay. I do want to talk quickly about a couple of things, logistical things. Your homework is worksheet 2. It's one of the handouts that you took from today. It is an extension of the lab that we did today. So please answer all those questions for next class, whenever that will be. Okay?